Hello there, welcome to Where's Wilmington. I'm Lisa Capalla, and we have a special episode of Where's Wilmington for you today. Usually we do this show in two segments, but today we're going to talk with Ken Gloss. He is from Brattle Books, which is one of America's oldest and largest antiquarian bookstores in Boston, right?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I had to write it down so I got it right. And that's at Downtown Crossing.
It's downtown, near between Washington, near the Opera House, that area. And it's been in my family since the 40s, but that was in Scully Square. We've been on West Street now almost 30-something years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, the area downtown has changed dramatically, especially in the last few, but we're one of the things that stays.
Nice. What we're going to do is we're going to talk with Ken a little bit, and then we're going to show you the footage that we took at a recent talk you did called Is There Value in Your Old and Rare Books? And that was at the Wilmington Library. How did that go? We're going to see it, but how
it
was
went
it?
really well. There was about 65 people or so, which
Nice.
for a library talk in the middle of the week was a very good crowd, and there was some very nice people there. And I give my regular talk, which
Right.
is a while, but then I do question and answer, and at the end you do appraisals. And
Nice.
I like to think people like to listen to me talk, but what it really is at the end they want to know, do they have anything in their
Right.
attic, basement, cellar, that rare treasure or find? Or what actually is really surprising that until you do it for a while, you don't realize, is that people want to know it's not worth anything. So I can let the kids take it to show and tell at the school, or I can
interesting.
just give it to my grandchild, or I don't have to be responsible. I can do it. I can read it.
How does one learn to appraise the value of books? And have you ever got into an appraisal war or battle with another appraiser who might say something is worth more or less?
Well, you learn it because it was my family business, and I literally
It's in your DNA, really.
Well, basically, and I literally have grown up with it. I have a degree in chemistry that my father got that out of my system, but
Right.
Probably now 40 years full time. So it's just seeing things over and over and over and working with dealers. Nobody knows everything.
Right.
So, you consult, you check, you find out where to look. And as far as appraiser battles, I try to avoid that as best I can. The time that comes up, and I really do avoid it, is when you get called in on divorces,
Right.
on insurance,
Right.
Where you've got an insurance company wanting one thing or a
Right.
claim, or in divorce, that
Right,
can
so
be toxic.
you have to stay true to what
You
you
have
know
to
to
stay
be the
with-
facts, which
but
is rough.
all of it is always a little subjective. So there's always, you want to get it about right, in the right range. But one appraiser could say this, one say that. So there's always a
Have
little
you
back and
ever
forth.
had to inauthenticate anything that was said to be authentic?
Oh, sure. I mean,
Really?
that's almost as
Oh,
much.
I'm surprised.
Well, no, because when things get very valuable. For instance, I just had somebody come in. I don't know if it's going to work out, but they had a nice long letter of Robert Frost. And what I liked about the letter was he was talking about how much he hated the winters in New Hampshire. I mean,
Right.
this is Robert Frost. But one of the things when you're going in to buy something like that is authenticating that the signature, that everything looks right to me. But I'm actually going to have a colleague look at it too and double check it.
Right.
There are times though when people have brought me in books and they've paid and so on, and you look at it and go,
And you
no,
know
it's
that
not.
it's not
It's not
right.
signed.
Yeah.
And usually, I try to do that very gently.
Right. Now, I know that you're a member of many professional organizations, so if someone's looking to have a book appraised, of course they're going to contact you, but what do we need to look for to make sure our credentials for these people are accurate so that we go to the right place so we don't get bad news?
Well, what I generally tell people is, the best thing is almost, if you're not sure the first time, get a second, third opinion.
Right.
There are groups, bookseller organizations. One's called the Antiquarian Booksellers of Association. Or you go to established person, even like myself, and if somebody says to me, we want to get a second opinion, I'm more than happy
Right.
to give you names or at least where to look. So that's not a problem
Excellent.
either.
Now, you have been a guest appraiser for PBS for how long? A long time. right?
Well,
For
it's on the
Antiques
Antiques Roadshow. Probably, I didn't do it from the first year, but I've done it for about 15 years now, and
Wow.
that's fun.
It's gotta be.
You go all over the country, and no matter where you go in this country, people are nice, friendly, there's something to see. And then doing the show, you're always hoping. And matter of fact, when you were asking about inauthenticating
Yes,
things,
yes.
one of the Antiques Road shows, the lady brought in a book, and it was signed A. Lincoln. And you took a fairly quick look at it and go, it is signed A. Lincoln, just not the A. Lincoln
Right.
you want it to be.
Right,
And
right.
she, she was a little taken aback, and she goes, well, how can you tell? I said, well, when you look at the date on the book, it says 1905.
Right.
And my history's right. He was assassinated in 1865. She slammed the book shut, walked away, and go, you don't know what you're talking about. But
Well, you have
so
to be a diplomat in the business that you do, because some of these things are very sentimental in value to people, I would
Oh,
imagine.
absolutely. Or
And that
even when
makes
you
it
were
rough.
talking about the Antiques Roadshow, people come there. It's a big event. One of the things that a lot of them like is just seeing the set and all the appraisers.
Right.
But they've been waiting in line many times, 2 hours, sometimes
Wow.
3. And if they get up to you and go, oh, that's nothing. No, you want to touch it,
Right.
hold it, give them. You've got lots of people.
Right. And I enjoy the history aspect when, even if the book isn't valuable, just the history aspect that the appraiser shares with the audience is fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. But we see thousands of people before we get to the few
Right,
that get
because
on
they
TV.
only show you
But
a
that's
few.
but that's the same way when someone brings something into a lecture like I did at the library or into my shop. People want to be treated nicely.
Right.
And what I always assume is, well, maybe this person doesn't have anything, but their neighbor has
Right,
the
you never know.
So you never know, and it's always long term. And also, I love it. I enjoy it. And hopefully, most days, that's also conveyed to them.
Excellent. So I want to shift our focus a little bit, and then we're going to take a look at that program that you did for the
Sure.
library. How do you decide what to keep in your bookstore? I know you've got 3 floors, but with all the Kindles and the e-readers, and I'm an English major, so I appreciate the written word. But are you worried that someday there won't be really a need for books because people will be done with that because of all the computer technology?
But you told me we only have a few minutes. I could go on
I
for
know.
hours and
Give
hours
me
with
a
it.
basic idea of what
well,
you think
one
of
of
that.
my
How do you
problems-
know?
One of my problems with Kindles and e-readers, there's no used books.
Right.
So 20 years from now, there aren't any used books with those. Also, people don't use books anymore for reference. You picture the professor with a huge library
Right.
so they can reach up, pull something, and find out a date. You don't need that anymore. But when you ask me, how do we choose for the store?
Right.
We go out to houses and estates almost every day. So in a way, we don't choose. It's like we just bought 3,000 science fiction paperbacks in Rhode Island.
Wow.
Like I said, we're looking at some letters of Robert Frost. So a lot of it isn't us choosing, it's what comes in.
Right.
And so now, once we get in large libraries, okay, we have outside tables, these go outside.
Right.
This is a rare first edition that we're going to call so-and-so in California
Mm-hmm.
about. And then some sit on the shelves for people to just come in and browse.
Right.
So the selection process is a little like that, but that comes out of experience. And, if I could order 6 Gutenberg Bibles, I would, except we
Right.
can't.
Right, that's true. And as far as space, would you put a 4th floor if they would give you some more room?
Well, we own the property, which is
Okay.
one of the reasons we're still in business in downtown
Okay.
Boston. I find that if you gave me a huge warehouse, I'd fill it, but it would probably fill up with the things that aren't turning over. So
Right.
in some ways, being limited in space, now we still have 3 floors,
Right.
a basement, outside, limited to some extent is actually a good thing because
Yes.
otherwise it fills up. Sure, I could double the space and be happy, but having it limited makes sure you keep things turning over and
Right.
moving.
And obviously, you're doing something right. You've been there for a long, long time. So
Well,
obviously, your system is working.
It's working. We love it. I like getting out to libraries, doing shows like this,
Right.
the Antiques Roadshow, seeing people talking about books. My wife says I only work half a day, 12 hours.
Too cute. Well, let's see
It's
some of
true,
that
though.
work in progress. So we're going to look at some footage that was taken at the Wilmington Library. That was the talk that you gave about is there value in your old and rare books. So this is going to be educational for you. It's going to be Ken Glass at the Wilmington Library. And we'll come back right after this footage. I think it's going to be about a half an hour or so. So we'll come back and close with Ken right after this. Enjoy it. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. What you just viewed was Ken Gloss, who is the proprietor of Brattle Books, and you, obviously, if you watch the footage, you know that. And that was all about the stuff that you did in Wilmington. So it looks like you had a good time.
It was a great crowd, good time, interesting items. But one of the things I will say is if somebody couldn't make that or one of my
Yep, I
future
was gonna
talks,
ask that.
the website is brattlebookshop.com. You can call, email, send photos. I mean, we do this all day long,
Right.
and we're always hoping that that one great treasure will show up, or something just good,
Right.
or people just want the information if they're moving, if they're dealing with an estate. Is it worth something? Do we need to deal with it?
Right.
Again,
And
we're
also,
happy to
I'm sure
help.
you talked to them too about preserving these items and, you know, where you should keep them and all of that
We-
stuff. That
we
we
get
could do a
into
whole
that.
show on that
We
by
get into
itself,
that
right?
too. And,
Excellent. And I also like one of the things on your website too, talking about decorating with books. So, you know, even if you're maybe not going to read them or you've already read them, there are other uses for books
Well,
that
we're
you can
decorating a
do
lot of
too.
movie sets, film.
Yeah.
We had one person order 6,000 red books. They had to be some shade of red.
And that was for a prop for the movies?
No, that was for a department store.
Wow.
They had 100 locations, and they needed 60 books behind a red dress.
Awesome. So you can take a look at all of that on Ken's website, which is brattlebooks.com.
Brattlebookshop.com. It will show up.
Easy enough. Thank you for coming to our town and coming to be on Where's Wilmington. I appreciate that. And thank you for watching. Just reminding you that the next time somebody asks you, Where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. We'll see you next time.